There's a life cycle for all of us that is directly tied to physical structure. And here is the 10,000-foot overview of that life cycle. We're all born into the world in a fetal position. It's a position of a primary curve. It's a C-shaped curve. The feet are tucked in underneath us. The head is here. We're all balled up inside of mama. We come out into the world. The first curve to form is the cervical curve. It's known as a secondary curve. The fetal position is a primary curve. Secondary curve is the first time in our lives, once that cervical curve formed, which forms in the opposite direction as the primary curve, first time in our lives that we are able to do for ourselves. The cervical curve allows us to hold the head up with a minimum of muscular effort. That is critical because it's an efficiency curve. Anybody who has kids knows this, because when that curve is forming and the baby's holding up their head, they shake like crazy because it requires a ton of muscular effort. But once the curve comes in, it requires almost no muscular effort because all the muscles are doing is a balancing act to keep the head in place. They're no longer having to work to actually hold it up against gravity because the curve is doing the holding like a spring. So that's an efficiency curve. Same thing happens when the lower back curve forms, the lumbar curve. That's our second secondary curve, forms a little bit later as the kid starts to prop themselves up. It's eventually what supports the weight of the torso so that we can hold our entire upper body up with a minimum of muscular effort. And then the third secondary curve to form is the curve in the bottom of the feet. It's the arches of the feet, and what that is, again, an efficiency curve. It recycles energy when we walk so that we don't have to spend as much energy. There's not as much stress on us